Hi, everyone. Yeah, welcome to our podcast. And today I'm really honored to have Michael G, one of a good friend of mine, and also the most famous agent that represent a lot of celebrities. That I is basically among the important people in your life, right? Like Cardi B, and all that. I'll like Mike talk more about it, but it's really like one of the crossover podcast series beyond like AI founder and the crypto founder. And we really want to have someone that have even more deeper observation in the real world, saying how AI is changing the different industries. And today the focus is on the creative industry, entertainment, and all that.
Thank you for having me, Bill. I appreciate it. I think we met about like 6 months ago,
Yeah,
you know, through our good mutual friend Connie Chan over at Andreessen
yeah, yeah,
Horowitz. So I'm
yeah.
glad she connected us. Yeah, definitely. Excited to dive in and talk about all things entertainment related, music, TV, film.
Yeah. I think the whole AI space has been like disrupting creative industry even before ChatGPT, right? There is Stable Diffusion that generate image, and I remember when I was in Google Brain 2016, there were already like AI creating music, and in one of the early machine learning conference, Jason Huang actually used AI to play one of the symphony. That is like I think it's probably the Star Wars symphony that are completely created by AI. So since the very early days, AI has already shown capability of disruption, and now it's even more powerful, right? You have Sora, and then now you have Veo 3 that is creating a monster photo, and even like a Hollywood studio short video quality, 5 to 10 second frames. That is very interesting, right? I saw this. I don't know if you saw this. There is a very interesting video created completely by Veo 3 called Prompt Theory. It's basically a lot of people inside the like Veo 3 created videos, basically bashing about, oh, are we created by prompt? No, we are real human living in this real world. It's kind of how Elon is saying we are kind of created by some higher intelligence in a simulated world, right? It's like it's getting there, and we are kind of the creator of this new world.
Well, I just saw this other company too recently that I was actually interested in speaking to, called Hedra, Hedra. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
raised, yeah, they're, and I think they're touching AI and like in the animation space, and it actually looks really, really intriguing. Their quality, and I know a couple of people and a couple of creators that are using it right now, and they recently took a meeting at the agency. So, um, look, I think when it comes to AI and creative and content, it's here to stay, right? And I think as executives, we have to embrace that. I think where it gets a little confusing at times is like, when you're talking about copyright infringement, I know plenty of artists that love AI, that use AI as a search tool, to put together strategic game plans. I just think when it touches on music, it's a touchy subject, right? Because everybody wants to be protected, and I think, look, I think there's going to come a time in the industry where it is accepted fully and wholly. Look, I'm a representative, right? So I'm an agent, um, and there's AI agents out there, as you know. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think everything works together. It's all going to like work hand in hand. It's those who embrace the future will be left in the past. That's the reality of it, right? It's a work in progress. Like when you look at the music industry, back in the mid 2000s when Napster came in and disrupted the entire music industry. The music industry was like, it was shot for a little bit. That's the reality of it. Like nobody was buying albums, everybody was illegally downloading albums. But what led Napster eventually became Spotify, which is
Yeah.
helped bring the industry back like fully. So it's an interesting concept. It's the future, and I think it's going to be a big part of the future. And I think it's going to help not only executives and agents, just like think outside the box, but be more productive with their time, because that's a big thing. Like I represent 30 plus acts. Like, embracing AI with whatever I do on a daily basis really does help that. As far as like scheduling, structuring, even routing tours. So primarily we do the live side. So AI is not really going to affect a live show per se, but AI can eventually possibly be a tool on how I price tours, right? Like when you came to a show with me last year with Lotto, and it was in Brooklyn at Barclays, and there's going to come a time where we price everything accordingly, with the promoters, but AI probably could understand that market a little bit better and help us price accordingly, even much more strategic. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as a tool.
Yeah, I think for those things like pricing, I can already see today's technology can easily be there. And actually, if you fully trust algorithm and data, I think today or even 3 years ago, I think the technology can already help you do those like intelligence decision making better. Fast forward, if we think for the next 2 years, one thing that I'm really curious is, do you see there will be kind of those kind of AI idol that actually become something that people put emotional attachment on and become one of the celebrity, like say a Taylor Swift level, like a national celebrity,
like an AI artist?
Yeah.
Well, Timbaland, who's a significant, prominent music producer, just signed his first AI act. So they're doing it now. So yes, I think that's going to happen. I think someone's going to be smart enough and intelligent enough to do something like that and put it out there on YouTube and TikTok, and it's going to catch an algorithm and it's going to go viral, right? But like when you look at that, you can't tour that on the live side. So the only way you're going to monetize that is through all the streaming platforms, your YouTubes, your TikToks, your Spotifys, and that would be the business of it. So are they going to do it? I think it's going to happen. I think it is already happening,
Yeah, I can imagine also how to tour it in live, right? You can essentially use those holographic approach and show up, just like how people do the like Michael Jackson show after like Michael passed away, right? You can potentially create the emotional attachment via like a 3D holographic figure that feels like a person or something.
And that's going to come down to cost, right?
Yeah.
Like how much is that going to cost nightly? And can I tour it enough where I'm getting a return on my investment? Because I know those holograms, and I'm sure the technology is much more better today. It has to be much more better today. You're right, and I'm sure it would be cool to go watch a show with all the throwback artists we grew up watching that are no longer around with us, right? But again, you're getting into someone's image and likeness, so you're gonna have to have the family behind it. It's a process, but again, do I think it's happening? Yes, I think it's happening. I've seen it online. It's already happening.
Yeah, I think the hard part for me is it's more like a social question. How do you create a completely new figure? Like for example, like say some figure inside One Piece or some figure inside let's see some like Japanese cartoon, right? Like those figures that are never like real. Can you put those people that already have some of a human attachment into like the real world? I think like AI can help with it, and I think there is like people trying this with character AI, right? In character AI, you can talk to like the fake Elon in their like a character, but you can also talk to like Luffy from One Piece in like their side. So potentially, I think a lot of it is basically realizing people's fantasy and all that. So today it's still like a conversational, and slowly there is like voice interaction. I think a lot of app today is already allowing voice interaction. I guess eventually it'd be like a generated video on the fly. But beyond that, how far can we push? I'm actually curious to. I can easily see like a generated video on the fly. It's just a question of Moore's law, right? Like how fast can compute get cheaper, and you can like create your favorite like a celebrity or like a imaginary celebrity to interact with you in real time.
Yeah, I think that day's coming. I think it's gonna be it's gonna be very, very real at the progress AI is going. I mean, you don't even no longer like aren't there apps out there that are you don't even need coders anymore. It'll code it for you, right? Like
Yeah.
it's insane. So I think what exactly how you're thinking is happening and will happen.
Yeah.
It's
And
just how the
then
industry is going to react.
yeah. It's just like if you think about social side, there is the two interesting thing, right? One is when you actually have a real celebrity, all the profit sharing is centered around the celebrity and the team behind that person. But now with like AI figure, how that profit sharing look like, and also another thing is copyrights, right? If it's like a completely uh like a created thing, how to, as you were saying, if you want to use like Michael Jackson or something, it's unclear how. I think it's probably clear since I don't know how it will be like a split in terms of the profit and everything.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
copyright
gonna
question.
it'll be a negotiation with the estate, with the record company, and the attorneys. I think everything will be a negotiation, and that'll be a process, right? I think some people will be open to it and some people won't, right? But I do think that you will see that 100%, 100%, absolutely. I think so. I think a lot of the record companies and estates still want to monetize. So I mean, outside of traditional just revenue streams, like with record sales and streaming, like they want other opportunities. So I think it just depends on who it is.
Yeah. I guess there were already two very interesting figures related to OpenAI, right? One is I remember last year when they announced the real-time voice interaction. Initially, they used a sound that very much like the movie Her, like the exact sound and vibe of style. And then they got into trouble, so they actually swapped that. So today you cannot talk to like your OpenAI real-time voice with the Her voice, right? That's one
Yeah.
thing. Another thing is recently the image generation, right? It's like the Ghibli style just blow up the internet with kind of the Japanese artist like background style. That even Sam switched his like a Twitter figure into the Ghibli style figure. So it's like a kind of like a going through a very strong kind of like AI style transform is becoming the trend, and the original style owner will recognize this as, oh, this is kind of a new way to infringe my copyrights. It's like not exactly taking the piece by piece, but taking my artistic style. And then in Japan,
Go ahead.
yeah, in Japan, it's very interesting in the past that all this AI generated content, the copyright does not belong to the original owner, right? That's, I would imagine it's probably why OpenAI chooses the Ghibli, since first, of course, Japanese like this art is like really part of our childhood. So for me, I totally see why it's like moving, but also the reason why I choose a Japanese art is probably also the law of Japan allows for like the copyright of the AI created content to belong to the AI creator, not the original style creator. So it will be, yeah, interesting to hear in the future how these things. It's very hard to like deconvolve some of these things, right? Which part belongs to style anymore? Especially if you think about music or video, you can blend a lot of different styles into it, and human artists do this all the time to basically mock or like respect all the other artists to use a piece of it, right? Like yeah, and it's unclear how the things will be like calculated legally.
Yeah, it'd be I foresee a lot of copyright infringement suits here in the States when it comes to that. But like you said, music, other artists are inspired by other artists, right?
Yeah.
So you can sample music as long as you get clearances and there's a legality to it. So it is an interesting concept. And I mean, I we'll stay tuned, right? I just wonder, like, what do you think? Let me ask your opinion on this. Do you think there's going to be an AI animation studio good enough to compete with like a studio like Pixar?
Yeah, I think so. I think there is a few like a video generation company, for example, Runway, right? Their mission is to basically enable the studios like Pixar to be more powerful and move faster. But eventually, there will be more ambitious technology company that decide, okay, I can hire artists in-house. Like if I have people that are creative enough to have the idea, have the plot, and also have the technology, I can create a competing company instead of a company that just do enterprise service to the studios.
Yeah, and eventually you build it. I'm sure one of these conglomerate studios are going to try to buy it. So
Yeah, but I can even see conglomerates cannot compete with the internet giants. The AI giants and internet giants, unfortunately or fortunately, have more money than even
yes,
the entertainment conglomerates, right?
there is. I mean, yeah, that is true. It'll be interesting just to see that space. I think I think with everything going on around in the world, it's like I said, you gotta embrace the future, and I think this is the future. And anyone that's not embracing it is going to get left behind. So it's a new wave, and I see
So
the benefits of it.
how do you observe the actual artists today? Like for example, the musicians taking it. Are they like what's their attitude towards using AI, and what's the attitude of like AI using their style or their voice or like things like this?
Well, I don't think anybody likes. I don't think anyone likes when someone's utilizing their name, likeness, or image on anything. That's just like that right away there's serious pushback, and I get that. Like that's your creative, that's your voice, that's your likeness, right? So that there's real pushback when it comes to that. Outside of that, like I see artists that I know and work with that use it all the time, like as a tool, you know, whether it's putting together like presentation decks or just like common business, like just like business opportunities or emails or I know I see the difference, when someone's using open AI. So it'll be interesting in the music business. You have companies like ASCAP, BMI. They collect royalties from radio play, streaming, concerts, wherever music's being played. It'll be interesting to see if there's going to be an AI company that could actually monitor AI artists that are using someone's name, likeness, and image to monetize on that. Like I think that could be a way to correct that. To be, you understand what I'm saying? Like that could be a really good way.
Automated lawsuit machine, right? Like just suit and then the other company
You
pays
use my name,
everything like automatic.
That could be a fix. Maybe you and I can create that. But that could be a real fix. That's as like those companies make a lot of money, so it'll be interesting. I think that's one way to monitor it, so everyone feels good if someone's using their name, likeness, or image. But I think for the most part, they love it when you could use it as a tool. Like if I'm in the studio and there's a major artist that I work with who wishes there was an AI app that could actually like organize his actual studio. Like he records music every day, and sometimes I think things get lost in the shuffle with his engineer. Like if he was able to say, hey, on May 31st at 2 p.m. I recorded this record, pull this up for me, and it pulls it up for him right away. Like artists would love that. Like they want, so they embrace it as a tool 100%. So to answer your question,
but do they want the tool to take a bigger part of their life? For example, in like one way I was imagining as more of a technologist is we build a personal AI for everyone, including the celebrity. And the personal AI will have more and more about the like actual celebrity's habits, like even like her like social life, DMs, right? Like how he interact with other people on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, even like on say like a more personal like iMessenger, and what kind of things they what kind of video they created and their like creation process. And slowly, as more data ingesting it, I can see this is probably more like a 10 to 20 years later, not like 5 years later, where potentially you can reconstruct a silicon version of these people, right? Just like how we talk about Michael Jackson's like a digital version that can hold a concert. So potentially you can create almost a silicon intelligence version of some of the celebrity, and because of their likeness, the silicon version can inherit a lot of the likeness of them. Since even if let's say like I have a celebrity at their 70, when they were like gray hair and all that, they are probably not as likable as their 20, 30-year-old version that are silicon that saved their best time, right? Like,
yeah, you want their 20, 30-year-old version, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to wrap my head around that one. I see what you're saying, but I got to wrap my head around that one. It's a good one.
Yeah, since eventually it's conceivable that humans, there is kind of like a digital spirit concept, right? If you collect enough of this person's memory and how he behave and how he, like, say, for example, sing and everything, there's enough footprint about how this person thinks, how this person sing, how this person perform. I think it's enough to almost reconstruct a lot. I mean, it's still going to be lossy version, but then reconstruct a digital version of this person.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At that phase, the technology will be so good that basically you can ask the celebrity to create some song that they never created with prompts, and then it just like the digital version becomes a real artist and is creating things.
It's like maybe if we were on this podcast, like creating like a third studio member that's a digital AI persona that can actually contribute into this conversation and talk to us. You know, I think you'll see podcasts doing that.
Yeah.
I definitely think so.
I think the more interesting piece is that today's AI do not quite inherit the likeness or the likable attribute of a human, right? It still feels very mechanical. It feels more like a tool, like a ChatGPT. And I think the biggest AI company that try to solve AGI is also pushing AI towards being a tool, and they do not take the place of like a human, right? But I can easily see technology allows for a different version where a digital or silicon version of these celebrities inherent a lot more likeness, and right, like it can even feel more real on a podcast or something than the actual person 10 years later when they are old. Like
it's just the human quality.
Yeah.
And it's empathy, it's feelings, it's emotion, all of that. It's funny you mentioned like the celebrity images. I was recently talking to this AI company, and basically the concept of their company, it's a great concept, is let's say you go through a drive-through McDonald's, and there's no actual representative taking your order. It's AI that takes your order and they get it correct. And the future of this company is, well, what if we had celebrities taking your order?
Yeah.
Right. You know, like what if it was a celebrity doing it, taking your order? But for me, that would be a very lucrative financial opportunity for a celebrity to license their name, image, and likeness for something like that. Right. Like if McDonald's wants to cut an 8-figure check to use your name, image, and likeness to take an order, that actually would be really cool for the consumer, and potentially for the artist if they like the brand, right? So when you're talking about that, like people are already thinking about that. Maybe not necessarily for, I mean, they are thinking for concerts, but like more for brand opportunities and working like that. So I thought it was a good, unique idea.
Yeah, I think this is partially already happening even before AI, just on the internet age. The Chinese version of Google Map, you can kind of let someone who guide you to not be a boring female voice, but one of the most famous celebrity in Taiwan, like Lin Zhiling, to like let her sound to like kind of tell you where to go and turn right, and it sounds very different. When we go out and travel in China, we actually really loved use that voice.
You use that one?
Yeah. It indeed make your vibe of using the product much better. It's
check that out. Do you ever use DeepSeek?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, how do you compare it to OpenAI? How do you feel about the advantages, disadvantages?
To me, for most of the tasks like coding or for math, it's pretty replaceable to each other, right? They are trained to solve similar tasks, so it's just like a potato. But in some other cases, these models are trained on very different things that they behave very. For example, writing Chinese poem. I think DeepSeek is much better in writing a Chinese poem, and also even very weird stuff calculating your luck for the next 10 years. The DeepSeek is actually read a lot of those very professional books on how to calculate the luck and guess based on a lot of very classical Chinese theory that is really fun. You cannot really reproduce a lot of those results in OpenAI models, since OpenAI people is more, probably ignored a lot of these angles and data as training materials.
That's great perspective. That's good to know. That's definitely good to know. I was curious your opinion on that.
Yeah. I think a lot of times the large language model is kind of like the digital spirit collection of the data set that of all the human, right? In some sense, most large language model is an inheritance of human behavior, on the public internet. But slowly, people try to move beyond public internet and try to push in the special data sets of some certain interesting styles or opinions. Yeah, as I was saying, for example, the voice stuff, right? You can literally really push your AI to talk really like one celebrity that have this great voice and great charm and try to inherit the charm.
Yeah, that is it's gonna be yeah. You've got my wheels turning, because I'm thinking about all this stuff and just the direction it's gonna go in the creative space. It's interesting because when I first started playing with ChatGPT, and someone showed me, oh, you could write a TV script or a movie script, and it actually would do it for you. Never as good. It's never going to be as good as an actual screenwriter who does this for a living. But great idea starters. Really knows how to generate some ideas. Kind of when you're having writer's block or when you're stuck with something specifically something, it does help with that. That's why I feel like it's such a tool when it comes to our industry and our business. I can only speak on behalf of I'm behind the scenes. So, we're managing a lot of different things, but I've always embraced telling my office to use AI. It's a great resourceful tool, even to put tours together, right? You can talk to AI and it can help you route a tour. Doesn't necessarily mean it knows the calendar of each venue or in each arena, but it could definitely, it's a good starting point. It's a very good starting point when you're putting together tours.
Yeah, actually, I have this kind of co-living space called AGI House that we sometimes host kind of fun hackathons, and we invite interesting guests. Two of the more interesting guests we invited, one is Grimes, the the mother of I think Elon's favorite child, X. Yeah, and another one is the Chainsmoker, the famous a DJ artist, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So two of them both talk about they actually say AI as their more a creative inspiration tool. That essentially they draw inspiration from AI. The AI is more a collection of a lot of kind of patterns and stuff that basically can help them discover new kind of inspirations. And that to me is very interesting. It's almost like mathematicians generically should be better at thinking about math conjectures than AI, but I think these days a lot of mathematicians, especially like mathematicians that work in related field to artificial intelligence, actually talk to AI to find research idea. It seems the similar things is happening to these top artists like Grandma Chainsmoker, where they rely on AI as their like creative kind of like a wheelchair, right? Like help them move further with this.
100%. I think more like the Chainsmokers and Grimes, like that makes 100% sense. And I'm sure other artists use it too for creative inspiration. Like it won't, because it can trigger a thought or an idea, you know? And then you just go off that thought and idea and you go out there and you actually conceptualize and craft whatever you want to put together, whether it's a song or a script but I think that's right on point. I think a lot of artists actually do that, to be honest with you. It's smart.
So today you are observing other artists also like trying to leverage a lot of technology to help them like creating new things.
I believe so. You know, some of the ones I speak to on a daily basis, I believe, you know, they wrap their heads around it. I don't know on a daily basis how they use it, right? But I think, like you pointed out with you know, like how the Chainsmokers use it, it is a good way to trigger good ideas and creative ideas and concepts. Absolutely. You know, I think a lot more use it than a lot less. So I think people are really wrapping their head around it.
Yeah, I tried to do this experiment comparing different AI's capability by letting them creating raps, right? I think creating like a good rap with good rhythm and good like a set of like that satisfies a set of rules is actually not easy. I personally cannot wrap my head around it to create this like a good rap. So I tested a GPT, DeepSeek, or like Cloud, Gemini, Grok, all these interesting models to like creating rap. It was probably like 4 or 5 months ago, where it's like trying to understand, okay, how good are they? And does this reasoning model make a difference for them to creating rap that follow better rules, and how creative can they get? And I think, yeah, like these things for an average human, I'm kind of below average human in terms of like artistic taste. I can feel like, okay, I can clearly say it's not something I would want to pay to lesson, right? It's not like at a celebrity level, but on the other hand, it's already much better than me. It's like it's like I'm here and the AI is here, and maybe the celebrity is here. It's like AI is right in the middle.
You can even actually like tell AI, if you're trying to create like a rap verse or a bar, like be specific with, hey, how would this rapper write this bar or this verse right here, and it'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played around with that before.
Yeah. I try to do it with like, for example, Lose Yourself, right? I just say, hey, this is a Lose Yourself. This is the lyrics, and try to analyze why this is good rap, and give me explanation. I think AI is able to give really interesting explanation
oh, it breaks down the verse and why this makes sense and why it's crafty and creative.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. And then if I ask it to reversely, based on all those principles, to create a version that is good, it's still not there. It's like it can explain why it's good. It's almost like a music school teacher that can explain all the theories to you. But if you ask the music school teacher to be the artist, they does not have the like good inspirational creative construction yet. But I think that's something potentially solvable with scaling, where if your model is large enough and eat enough training data and enough RL environment, it might actually be possible to push them over to that like a more creative state. If you can have like top artists actually giving feedbacks to it, or if you have enough listeners that give feedback on like or dislike, eventually maybe something like that will emerge.
That's that's definitely food for thought. I think that's it's a very interesting concept. You know, like sometimes when you see a lot of these rappers doing rap battles, right? Like I'd be
Yeah.
interested in hearing who do you think won this rap battle between both of them? You know, like public opinion always like weighs in, but it'd be interesting to see what AI thinks, you know?
Yeah. I think rap is something. I think even in rap battle, potentially today, if we do an online rap battle with like we hide the AI, it can be actually an interesting rap Turing test, right? Like potentially you have one human rapper and one AI rapper, and
Oh,
then
that'd be good.
battle and say like whether like all the audience thinks the AI like rapper can actually beat the human rapper. I potentially think this is an interesting
That's an
concept.
interesting
Like
concept.
we can do an artist, right? Like like a rap battle Turing test.
That's an interesting concept. That yeah, if you got the right rapper who's willing to do it, go toe to toe, that would actually be good. It's a good way to roll out a project too, to get all eyes on your album and project for an artist.
Yeah. It can create good hype, just like the same way, like it's like how, it's like Elon like do a lot of these crazy things and like attract so much attention, helps him, right? I think when you are the first artist to do these crazy things, it might just be very fun and attract so much real eyeballs.
Yeah, no, that would be. I would actually want to watch that.
Yeah.
I would actually. I would definitely want to watch that. Yeah, it's you know, it's like I mean, rapping and rap battle. It's like it's a sport, right? Like at the end of the day, it is a sport. It's a very competitive sport amongst each other. Why not bring AI into it? It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do that one. I like that one.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. I think this is fun. I just come up with the idea on the spot, so again,
you came up with the idea without AI.
Yeah. I guess I'm a decent biological computer that have like
there you go.
like idea generation speed. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, we're gonna have to put that one together. We're gonna find the right artist to do that.
Yeah.
It's a good project.
Yeah. And another question I want to ask you is, I mean, a lot of today's like music or generically these artistic things require very professional, scientific like go-to-market in terms of like marketing, in terms of the push, right? Like in terms of how you conquer all the recommendation system, algo on different platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and all that. Like how do you guys handle that? It's like I think you are the expert of these distribution problems, right? You have offline distribution, but today more and more is online distribution. In online distribution, you also battle with these algorithms and trying to like basically have as much eyeball as possible, right? It's the same actually as like AI product launch, where you try to let so many eyes be on top of your product demo. It's very similar process, right?
It's a great question. You know, like when I first got into the business, it was all about radio, right? If you were able to break a record on radio, you had a chance for a hit record. If you had a chance for a hit record, you were going to have a big album. You could go on tour. Radio's still relevant, obviously, but now if you talk to every record company, and from what I see, it's all digital marketing. It's like, how do we break the algorithm? How do we get eyes on a record we just put out? How do we get eyes on an artist? So there has to be a specific approach on how you market every project. You know, for a long time it was TikTok, because TikTok led to Spotify streams. That's just what it was, right? So record labels were spending a lot of money on influencers, paying them to post records on TikTok to catch that algorithm. But from what I've seen in, you know, and I've observed a lot of the, you know, and this is a strategy that I'm talking to my artists about. You know, when an artist posts and self promotes, it's effective, of course. Obviously, you get your fans on there. What I've noticed is it's the fan accounts that really get more viewership and more eyes than the actual artist's page, because artists don't want to post all the time. They just don't. Like, it's funny because you work so hard to put a project out, but then they'll post a couple times, but they don't really want to push. But the fan accounts, like if you look at Taylor Swift's fan accounts, those fan accounts have like the interaction's amazing. It's really the fan accounts. If you get established like one or two major fan accounts, Like I actually feel like that can feed the algorithm. But to answer your question, it's all digital marketing. It's TikTok, it's Reels, it's Instagram. It's letting as an artist, if you let the fan into your world and embrace the fan, and they can actually see how you made the record, you tease the record, you feed the fans, they'll follow you. They will follow you. That's how you really get that loyal fan base um, in the digital world. I do like the fact that when you look at Spotify and Apple Music, I like the fact that Apple doesn't post how many monthly listeners someone has, because it gives artists a chance to like, hey, if the record's good, I'm gonna listen to the record. It doesn't matter how many listeners the artist has. Spotify gives you your monthly listeners, which is a tricky number, but I think a lot of people pass on artists that are actually really talented artists that may not have 1 million monthly listeners a month, but the music's really good. So, you know, it's hit or miss. But yeah, I really feel like the fan accounts is what's driving a lot of the big algorithms, a lot of the records breaking on TikTok, a lot of the records breaking on Instagram. It really, really is. It's the biggest part of music, digital marketing.
I see. So what's the process if you sign a new celebrity, and then you like you probably need to prepare a digital marketing budget, and also have a digital marketing strategy on like how you push them to get viral on different platforms. How does that go?
The record label for the most part will allocate a marketing budget, and in conjunction with the management team, they'll decide where to spend that, right? Whether it's ads, whether it's TikTok. Some artists will also self-invest because it is your career, it is your project. So they'll want to put some money into it too as well, right? I think it's not really talked about a lot, but I'm sure record companies are also hiring influencers to post music. That's part of the budget, right? Like, again, we live in a world where influencers and you know what? Streamers is what's really moving the needle now with music. That's to be honest with you, because if you're a streamer and you have all these, there's a lot of artists going on these shows promoting their records. Obviously everything's clipped up and reposted online and people catch like, 15 to 20 seconds, 30 seconds, but streamers is really moving the needle. That's a whole different ball game right now. It really is. But to answer your question, it's the record label that really allocates that budget. So again, and that's always management label, how much money you want to spend on marketing. It's like anything else.
Given a fixed budget, how do people like determine where to spend it, right? There you can spend it more on like a pay influencer to repost. You can spend the money on like buying more like Facebook ads. Like there's a lot of different ways you can also spend money, like say like a Twitter allows you to boost, right? There's a bunch of ways you can spend the same amount of money, and the people must have a way to measure the effectiveness, just like how traditional marketing you can measure the effectiveness.
It also come down to your demo, right? Like if I'm a young artist, if I'm a Gen Z artist, like 18 to 21, I'm going TikTok. Right? Like that's the majority of my budget is going to go towards TikTok, Instagram. If I'm an artist, 35 to 54, then Facebook, Instagram ads could work for me. Right? I think it depends on the demo of the artist to determine the spend, but it's really broken into that way, to be honest.
I see.
Yeah. But look, I'll tell you something. I went to an Akon show 2 years ago because we represent Akon, and I thought for sure the audience was going to be 35 to 54. Like I was like it was sold out show, but when I looked out into the crowd, it was actually a pretty young crowd, like 18 all the way to like 34. And I think what happens is a lot of the nostalgic records that we grew up listening to, nostalgia's goes viral on TikTok. So the fan base actually is younger, which I learned this, by the way, and I'm in the business. Like I actually learned on site because I was shocked how young the fans were. I'm like, oh, they like this is like music I grew up listening to in college, all the way, through my first job. So it just shows you the power of digital. It's a big tool.
Yeah. I think, yeah, even in China, it's the same, right? I think even on YouTube, the most watched probably music videos is still J.Joe that kind of grow up with us, right? Like he's like, when I was like 10 years old, that's kind of the hottest star that is most rebellion. Now it becomes the most famous and standard idol of everyone in China.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Nostalgia's in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, it really like pushed me back to this thought, like all this nostalgia is kind of echoing the point, right? You want a silicon version of the stars at their like best time, right? Even like if you go to J.Joe now, and I mean J.Joe still create interesting music, but comparing to his peak time, can
You want
clearly
old
see he's
music.
no longer at the peak
Of
time. So
course.
if you have a peak time J.Joe that is able to have the capability to create and have a digital version of that person on that moment of the peak performance, and especially like their sound condition and all that, right? It will decay with time, just like how Michael Jordan is not able to dunk at 50, right? It's like eventually you cannot fight time, and you might leave the best version of you, the digital version there, right? Since somehow as say like sports, you cannot today you cannot create a digital like Michael Jordan that jump that high and all that. All of it's not interesting, at least. But for like singers, it's actually interesting to have the precise like sound style, sound condition of its peak time. Right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I get that. You know, it's funny. Our friend Shay is texting me because he's watching the stream. So shout out to Shay. He's still listening. He just screenshot a picture. That's what distracted me for a second of us on the stream. But shout out to Shay, who represents Myles Garrett, who should also be on this and talk about AI and sports in the future of sports.
Oh yeah. We should do more. Yeah, one more.
Yeah, we should definitely
episode. Yeah,
we should definitely get him on this. But yeah, this has been good. It's been exciting. Excited about the future and excited to continue to work together and see what we can do.
Yeah. Actually, like as a finishing thought, let's push out this like rap battle Turing testing to like real. Maybe we can actually.
I love that idea. I love that idea. By the way, it'd be good. It's a good marketing campaign.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that'd be good. We're gonna find someone who's gonna willing to do it. I think it'd be good.
Yeah, totally. Yes, we should make it something that people talk about in their daily life, aside from Trump, Elon, and all that drama. Right? We can create our own drama.
Like, for sure.
This is the age of like eyeballs, and we should create these fun things for
people
to look at it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's catch a concert, and let's definitely get Shay on this.
Yeah.
He's still listening, by the way.
Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah, I suppose as an ending note, normally I come up with 2 questions, so I'll do that too for you. What do you think is the most contrarian prediction that is like anti-consensus for the next 2-3 years in terms of AI, what AI will do to the creative industry? Second is out of the contrarian ideas, what are the most creative ones that like you think that have a small chance of come true but will create a very interesting world?
Two great questions. I think the first one, to be honest with you, I think you're going to see a lot of resistance from all the old entertainment executives. There's going to be multiple lawsuits from studios and record companies. That's a given. And eventually there's going to be a happy middle because AI is not going anywhere. But old regimes always push back on new ideas. That's going to happen. To answer your second question, it goes back to the AI artists. You're going to see AI artists come out. Like I said, Tim, but like there's going to be AI artists. There's going to be AI artists that are going to actually sell records and stream and chart on the Hot 100 in the Billboard 200. Like I told you earlier today, Timbaland signed his first AI artist. So it's already happening with major producers. And that's going to be interesting because will that last? I don't know. It's going to definitely make a dent in the marketplace and it's going to get talked about. Definitely. But I think those are the two things if you were to ask me.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I think the first one, I wouldn't even call it contrarian, right? It's already observed with like, it's basically a similar vein as like why OpenAI take off her voice and all that, right? It's already happening. But I think for big company like OpenAI, this lawsuit actually make a dent. I feel like for smart startup, it actually might not, right? It's just potentially the lawsuit itself is like a PR material for young startups, right? Yeah, it's not bad actually.
It's all PR. It's all PR because it's going to get your name on. I mean, what do they always say? Controversy creates cash.
Yeah.
I mean, AI is controversial. It's definitely creating cash, and some of these valuations are.
Yeah, so in some sense, I think because of this type of dynamics, we'll say very brave innovation from startup land, much more than big company or even mid-sized like a unicorn companies, right? Like young company that has not even get to a unicorn state have not have that much to lose, right? Even if they lose a lawsuit, so what? They shut down this company and they create a new one. It's like it's not that bad, and it's like it's just how things evolve, and I anticipate from that there will be a lot of interesting new company, new experiments that will go crazy. Now, crazier things.
Spotify would never have existed without Napster. That's the reality.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Eventually, the regime converts to something that everyone can profit from it, and the ecosystem can grow healthy, right? But initially, people must push the boundary very hard to know where the boundary is.
100%, exactly.
Yeah.
That's always the case.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Let's have more of this. Let's do the sports sections after this.
Let's do it. Let's get Shay on this too to talk sports and AI.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's get him on. I know he's listening.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much.
All right. Take care.
Thank you everyone for listening. Bye.